Side note, how about that skimmate, huh? That's not bad.
Wow, check this out. That is pretty cool. This, to me, this is a winner.
So that would go in like that. Have our tubing, and then we'll just zip tie it. Fell off the box and it yanked one of those tubes right out of the little bracket that I have up on top of little U joints. I don't know what you call them. Anyway, pulled it off and it started dosing the night's worth of kalkwasser all onto the floor. You can see the water damage that it did to the actual hardwood floor as well as inside the cabinet there a little bit. Anyway,
I definitely need to upgrade my my dosing tube holders because those did not work at all. So first thing I do, of course, is I think, oh, let's go buy something. And I go do this little bit of searching and I'm looking at $10, $20 for these little tube holders, and I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna spend $20 for something like that. So what do? I come over to Thingiverse. Of course, Google does a much better job of searching Thingiverse. So I go ahead and type in Thingiverse dosing holder, and I come up with these links. Look, just the top four. First one I go to that was this guy, if you want just one, and it looks like this particular one is for a rimless tank. Of course, you could take these and you can edit them just like you would in Photoshop. You edit them in the 3D printing models. I use 123 Design, 123D, I think it's called. Anyway, you could elongate this, chop this off, you could do whatever you want. But I go to the next link. And the next link shows me this, and I go, wow, that looks pretty good. I have no idea what this is for. But look at some of these other little links. Now this is also for a rimless tank, you can see, but the tube would come over the top through here and jam in there. And you could edit these and make them shorter, make this part shorter, or you don't even have to have this. I'm not sure why you'd have this and then going down into that. It's kind of an interesting little concept, but that's pretty cool, right? Cool to look at anyway. So I go on to the third link and I'm going, whoa, that's pretty sweet. Look at that. You have these little screws that can hold it in, hold your tube in, comes out the bottom. Not exactly sure. Oh, I see. So the way that it mounts to the rimless tank again, you can edit these files and you can make this longer so it can go over a rim tank or whatever kind of tank you have. And there's these little holes again for those little screw dealies, right? But then you have to go and get these little screws or print these screws. My printer is not going to print that helix pattern that's on there. So I don't really like that particular design. But also I do have this rim all the way around my tank, and I can use that to my advantage, right? So like, what if I elongated this and then just curled this under? And I'm thinking, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Come out, swing around, curl under. But and I'm liking the way this is look, but I go to the next link anyway, and wow, check this out. That is pretty cool. This, to me, because I have a rim tank like this one, this is a winner. I can't believe my eyes. So I'm thinking, I'm going to go print this out right away. That looks pretty easy. So I download the file. Pretty simple. You just click download all files and then pop it into your printer and it'll come out. So let's take a look.
Here's what I'm thinking. I can 3D print something, or I can take something I already have, and I'm looking at this. It's a 1.5 inch pipe. It's a 1.5 inch, 2 inch, and I can fit it right in there. That's gonna work out pretty nicely. Let's go take a look. What would be really nice is if I had a table saw and I could run this through in a table saw, but I don't have one. All I have is this cheap old chop saw. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Don't try this at home, folks. Should be long enough. Don't know if that's wide enough. Let's make it a little bit wider. All right, there we have it. Do a little cleanup job here, maybe a little bit of sanding. That's gonna wrap right onto the edge of the tank. What we do need to do is poke some holes. I'm gonna go ahead and bring those hoses around. We'll poke some holes, maybe we'll just do some zip ties. We want our tubing to come across the top of the aquarium, and we want to be able to tie it off. And I've got 4 tubes up there, so we're going to put a hole, right in that area, about a ½ inch away from the edge. I don't think it's going to go all the way in like that, right? It's like, boom. Yeah, it's probably going to end up right about there. So we'll go ahead and poke. We could poke just 4 holes and thread it in and out. Let's just see how it goes. What size do we need? We need to be able to reach in there. It's a pretty thin hole, but we want to give ourselves ample amount of room to be able to thread it, so that one should do just fine. Goes pretty quick, huh? So let's just assume we're only going to do one. So that would go in like that. Have our tubing, and then we'll just zip tie it. And we'll get that baby on there as tight as we want. I can't get my camera all the way up here, and my tripod doesn't make it up this high and do all this at the same time. I can do it if I hold it by hand, but that turned out okay. You know, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. I could have drilled those holes a little bit better. I ended up doing 2 for each hose, but they're in there good. They're not coming out, and that wraps around there pretty nice. I am very pleased. That ended up being like a free solution, because I already had these and I already had the ABS pipe there, which ends up being, that is a 2-inch pipe to get around this edge, but it just kind of wrapped in there nice and easy. You can see part of it's in the water. So now the other thing that I have to watch out for is that my water level doesn't, I'm getting pretty close to these tubes. So like, what if I started dosing and then the water wants to drain back down these tubes? I don't want to put a one-way valve on there, especially with the kalkwasser. That's just going to get clogged up. So I've got to keep them out of the water, and I might end up re-drilling some holes so that I can bring these up a little bit higher. That's the only thing that I can think of right now that could possibly give me problems. If any one of these tubes becomes detached from the doser, it's going to drain all that water back down and underneath the cabinet. In addition, the only thing holding this water from draining back down there is the dosing pump. Those little wheels that squeeze off each one of the tubes that's inside the doser. So kind of scary, huh? If it's just what's in the tube, that's fine because it'll go back in the container. But if the water level ever rose above where these tubes are, that's a decent amount of water, a couple gallons it would end up down below. Side note, how about that skimmate, huh? That's not bad. That is 2 days worth. I'm swapping that out about every 3 days. It still has another third left to go, or just whenever I think about it, I pop up here and take some of that junk out of there. Pretty sweet for a little $20 skimmer. Spicy Reef here, signing off.
Now what are you doing?
I think I got it.
How do you know if it's up or down?